I'd like to call now on Her Worship Patricia Matthews to say a few words.
Thank you. Last Remembrance Day, we gathered to honor and remember our fallen heroes and thank those that are still with us. This year, we're doing it in front of an everlasting symbol of thanks because of the tenacity and dedication of some of our own citizens who have served. But our tone last year was very different from past Remembrance Day ceremonies because we lost good men in uniform and we were reflecting on that horrible loss and those horrible events. Then we all took a deep breath and maybe wiped away a tear and moved on with life. We went back to work, back to our kids, our grandkids, our parents, and our busy lives. And that memory faded, as all bad memories eventually do. Those names and events were forgotten or tucked away for future remembrance. But I don't want to forget those names or those events, and I don't think you should either. Not because those people were more special than any other hero who fell while in service to our country, but because they fell on Canadian soil. Warrant Officer Patrice Vincent, Canadian Forces, run down by a suspected terrorist in Saint-Jean-sur-Richelieu, Quebec. Corporal Nathan Cirillo, reservist of the 91st Canadian Highlanders, shot by a suspected terrorist at our National War Memorial in Ottawa. I think we need to remember them because of what they represent, a threat of terrorism here at home on our own soil. While the reasons for their deaths may or may not in the end have any link to a terrorist threat, we as a country, we as a community here thought they might. We reacted as if they did. We stood together and said, no, you can threaten us, but you won't change who we are as Canadians. I'm very proud of us and our firm stance against a potential threat. I'm proud of the things as a community that we didn't do and the actions we didn't take in response. We still treated each other with respect and maintained our identities as good community members. But the fact is, we did change, at least a little. We've come to understand deep in our bones that the world isn't what it used to be, and we aren't as safely isolated here as we thought. We as a nation have come to have an appreciation that anyone who puts on a uniform in service to our country at any time, anywhere, accepts there is a risk to that, even here at home. When men and women in the past donned a uniform, they went overseas to protect not only our rights and freedoms, but those of others. They took a risk that they might not come home. They accepted that risk, and they went anyway. They did it knowing that they would be safe when they came back to our communities. Many did it for precisely that reason, to protect us from having to face the atrocity of war in our own backyards. They fought bravely, sacrificed their lives, and those that returned home were and are never the same again. Their innocence, at the very least, was lost in the first battle. Can you imagine what that would be like? Imagine leaving home with one last kiss to your loved ones and knowing it may be your last. I can vividly imagine that, and it's why I'm so grateful to those that have done it. I can conjure up in my own mind how it must feel, and I know I'm not brave enough to do it. I know that the weight of that risk must have been heavy on those that fought for us overseas, and I understand the weight got heavier for those that serve us now, after last year's events. We have had our realities shaken up after those deaths linked to terrorism, and we will never quite be the same again. I hope it's given us all a better sense of appreciation. So while we sit or stand here in the chilly weather, feeling a little uncomfortable, remember those men and women who willingly suffered through much worse, feeling afraid and anxious and weary, missing the safety of home and probably questioning their choice to join more than once. They came forward because of a desire to serve and a love of our country, and they sacrificed so we could be here today. They gave me and all of you the ability to be a proud Canadian, the ability to be a Canadian at all. There are so many more like them, some here today, who are not only part of the military, but RCMP, police, and more, who woke up this morning, proudly put on those uniforms, and have accepted a new level of personal risk to serve this country and all of us. You and I are here today to remember those that have sacrificed. Please take the time to thank those here today that are still doing it. Thank you.